Hi. Hi, it's John Birmingham. Hi, it's John Birmingham. Hey. Hi. This is a live video. Hello. I put a little fisheye on my laptop camera, webcam. How's it going? So I'm going to talk about the famous people who I met or talked to. Here's a list. Now, I never really hung out in LA when I lived in LA. Like, I didn't go to clubs and stuff like that. I was enrolled in school. At LMU and Chapman University. I did film production and acting a little bit, but mostly film production. Screenwriting. Excuse me. I don't know why I say that. Excuse me. It's supposed to be cool in nature. Never say excuse me. Think immediately about having sex. Yeah, I burped. Sorry, not me. I follow God and Jesus. Okay. No, that's like me. It's like saying everyone who burps and doesn't say excuse me is. No, I don't know. I can't judge if someone says that. There are many different reasons for things like that. I don't even care that much about those types of things. I care about people. So here's the famous people I met who are real human beings too. You know, they may get into heaven or hell. They may be good or bad. We can't judge them. God will judge them. Just because they're famous does not mean they're mean. Does not mean they're mean human beings. Okay? They're real human beings. Wee Man, the guy in Jackass. Jackass 4 is coming out next month. This is January 8th. You can see in the top of the screen. Wee Man. Okay. Here's how I met Wee Man. The guy who's in Jackass. Okay. I went to school at LMU, Loyola Marymount University. And like here's LA. Here's California, right? It's on the side. It goes like that, and the beach is there. The ocean is there, the Pacific Ocean, and here's California, and here's LA. And you zoom in on it. LA is here, and a little south, like in the south, a little south on LA, there's Redondo Beach and Hermosa Beach. They're really good beaches. I like those areas. Manhattan Beach is also there, I think. And it's not like Manhattan, New York. It's just called Manhattan Beach. And they do have Little Italy in the Valley, I think, in LA. It's pretty good. And so, but here they have Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, and they have a Ralph's grocery store there, I think, at Redondo Beach. And Kroger owns Ralph's, I think. So my parents kind of like Kroger. Anyway, I was in Redondo Beach or Hermosa Beach, and this is interesting because my grandfather, they called him my, not the one who was a big police chief, but the one who was blood grandfather from Ireland. My dad was adopted by a grandfather who was a big police chief when he was like 2 years old or something. But back in Ireland, my blood grandfather, who, not my real grandfather really, but kind of in some ways, he was special. They called him a wee man in Ireland. And he was little. He was like 4'11" or something like that, or 5'2", 5'4". I don't know what it was. He was kind of small. And they said, he's a wee man. And so for some reason, I felt comfortable and good around Wee Man, the guy whose name's Jason Acuna. I think that's his name, Jason Acuna. And he was skateboarding outside of Ralph's grocery store, and I was skateboarding there. I was just skateboarding. I had skateboarded down from, I think, Playa del Rey or LMU, or drove near there looking for a skate spot, or I don't know what I was doing. It was either before I met Danica or right after I met Danica, or when I first met Danica, like 1999, I think, or 98 or 98 or 99, I think. And I was skateboarding there, and I was just some kid, guy skateboarding, some kid skateboarding. I was like 20 years old, maybe 21, and he walked right up to me. I didn't walk up to him, and I didn't know who he was. He wasn't famous yet, but there was this other guy who was a wee person, not Wee Man. His name was Pancho Moeller, and he was on all the Big Brother magazines, and I thought maybe he was kind of famous like him, but I didn't know. I had never seen Wee Man. I had never seen Wee Man in anything that I knew of, or maybe I did and I wasn't aware. He was in the CKY videos, or I didn't know. But this guy was Wee Man. I think I knew he was kind of famous, but I didn't, Jackass hadn't come out yet. This was in the late 90s. So he walked right up to me, and I was skateboarding. He happened to have a skateboard. He would skateboard around there. I think he grew up around there or lived there around there. That a little bit south of LA, around Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, LMU, not Westchester, Philadelphia, but Westchester, where LMU is. That's a small neighborhood at LMU. Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey is a little further north. Places like that. And he was skateboarding, and I happened to be skateboarding, and he walked up to me and asked what my name was. And I said, my name's John. And he said, I'm Jason. And he just talked to me a little bit about skateboarding or something, and he said, well, I'm around here if you want to skate. And he was just some guy who skateboarded. He wasn't as famous he wasn't really famous, and that was Wee Man. And I met him then. And then in 2000, I think, the year 2000, I think Jackass had come out, or he was like, I knew he was kind of famous by then. And at my school at LMU, he showed up with these other skateboarders skateboarding on campus, and they made a big presence. They were really it was wow, that's cool, they're pros. And I think that's what he was a professional skateboarder. So he showed up on campus. I went to get my skateboard. When I came back, he was gone. But I met him the first time. The second time, I didn't get to skate with him. I went to go get my skateboard, and he was gone already. And I did see Arnold Schwarzenegger. I did see Arnold Schwarzenegger at my school, Chapman University. He came there. This was years later. This was 2005. I think it was 2005. I was getting my MFA in film production at Chapman, and he showed up, and he was unveiling the building of the new, really new looking, amazing film school thing, building or studios or something on the school. And I waited and waited. I got there early with Danica. We sat in our chairs. Almost no one was in the audience besides the dean of the entire film school, Peter Medak, who won an Academy, who was either won or was nominated for an Academy Award. He was my teacher. And I think this kid's dad, who went to the school, his real dad, who was a famous person, Malcolm Mcdowell. Malcolm Mcdowell, the guy in Clockwork Orange. The guy in the Clockwork Orange, he holds up a weapon. Malcolm McDowell and his real son went to our school as an undergrad when I was there as a graduate. And then his stepdad was Ted Danson and Molly Steenburgen. His real mom was Molly Steenburgen. And there's some famous people. So Ted Danson was at school a bunch. Malcolm McDowell. Peter Medak was my teacher. He kissed Danica on the hand. on the hand. He didn't do that to any of the other students. It was a miracle. I brought Danica to class one time, and to be in my short film, and he kissed her on the hand. He was never that way to the students. He thought, what could they ever be, and including me, I think a little bit. But I had to prove myself to him and act like I would like maybe do something cool and big one day or something. But he thought, what could the students ever be? He was nominated for an Academy Award. He's a big director. So I met those people. Ron Jeremy. In 2006, I went back to LA. I had moved to Virginia in 2005 to start a family, get married, start a family. I went back to LA to film a scene for my movie, an additional scene and photo shoot and stuff for my regular R-rated movie. And Ron Jeremy had been in The Surreal Life on VH1, so I thought he'll be a name I can afford to pay him a little bit, get him in my movie. And I was debating whether or not to get him because he was like a porn star name. I wanted to get somebody famous, and I happened to get him. So he's in the movie. Ron Jeremy plays my father in the movie. Ron Jeremy. So I got him. I had to pay for a limo to drive him to the movie set, and we filmed at my friend Joe Rubenstein's house. And Joe Rubenstein was this, I put an ad out looking for a cinematographer for my short film Meant to Be, and I got him, and he was the cinematographer in my movie Crazy Animal, and we filmed that day at his house. And he was from Savannah College of Art and Design, but that guy Joe Rubenstein, he became CEO of Bolex. Have you ever heard of Bolex cameras, the 16mm cameras they used to film stuff on, Bolex? He became CEO of Bolex, so that was cool. And also during that shoot, and my entire movie shoot here and there, was Miss Norway, Lena Patterson, former Miss Norway and 11th in the Miss Universe pageant. She was like a friend or somebody who I did a casting call in LA, rented a place to hold auditions, and all these actors came in. I got hundreds of headshots. She was somebody I hired because I saw, Miss Norway. How could I not put her in the movie? This is her. This is her on the movie case. This is my movie Crazy Animal. That's her, not Miss Norway, Lena Patterson. She was from Norway, and I think she maybe got married and moved back there. Lena Patterson. This guy was in a bunch of national commercials. He's some guy I'm friends with or something, or was friends with him. Still friends with him if he wants to be friends, but I don't talk to him that much. And this girl, I put her with a picture of Danica when I went to Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival. But I didn't get in Sundance. I got in Trauma Dance and maybe one of the other ones another year. I got in Slam Dance kind of another year. They put me on their homepage with one of the short animations I did. But anyway, so I went to Trauma Dance to promote my movie, and I put a picture of her on it looking like kind of with a fake sexy body that I photoshopped, and Danica, and I put pictures of them. We put them on a bulletin board, on these bulletin things at the Park City, Utah, during Sundance. And then I think Mark Wahlberg saw it, or some famous people must have seen her and was like, wow, she looked really good, because it was like this attractive girl on the cover of a movie poster for all of Sundance. Anytime somebody walked past it, they'd see like 10 or 20 posters. We kept putting them back up, and so they saw Danica and her, and eventually she got a role on HBO's Entourage, but she's not really that famous. But she got a role in Mark Wahlberg hired her for HBO's Entourage to play a supermodel. That's pretty good. She got to play a supermodel, not something stupid. That was pretty amazing. That's Maria Zirianova. She had very good looks in real life, but not for me and somebody, and not any weird stuff. But and that was Lena Patterson. She's kind of famous. And here's Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy. That was at the photo shoot. We took these pictures. I got him to be in we filmed him and we took pictures of him that day. That's a costume I got him. That white shirt, he kept it because he showed up in a shirt with stains on it. He didn't spend any money. He saved his money, but he at the time I think he had a $2 million net worth. But he saved all his money because even if you spent money a bunch and you had $2 million, you wouldn't have he wouldn't have a net worth. He'd have like hardly any money if he spent a bunch. So he was saving his money when he showed up. He had a shirt with like, it was like this really old shirt. So I let him keep the costume. I let him keep the new white Vans and the shorts that I gave him on set. And also in this movie is Brink Stevens, like the scream queen, who I paid $1,000. The first famous person I ever paid to be in a movie. I thought she was famous because these other people talked about her, but I'd never seen any of her movies. I was like, they talked about her in this other movie, like she's so famous and cool or something. And I saw some pictures of her, and I was like, well, I guess I could offer her $1,000 and see if she'll be in my movie and it'll be like a famous person and help it to sell more or something. So I got her and paid her $1,000 to be in a scene in this movie, and she was pretty good. She played the part really well. She's good at acting. And then I got Lloyd Kaufman. I paid him $1,000 to be in it or something, and then that went towards helping them distribute the movie better. And then they distributed it. Crazy animal. It was number 900 or 800 something, 900 something or 800 something most popular film of its time on IMDb. So stupid because it wasn't number one. It wasn't in the top 5. Wasn't in the top 100. It was a number when it first was released, as big as it got. It was number 900 something. And so this is like famous stuff for famous people I met. How are you? I might check the comments. Okay. Let's look at some more famous people I met. Well, there was Wee Man. Steve-O commented on my channel or some stupid thing. Sometimes the famous people comment online, but I've never met him. Larry King. I saw him in Beverly Hills, just walking down Beverly Hills Boulevard, and he was at a corner. Like here's a corner, and they call this catty corner. There's another corner. There's like a street here, a street there, and I was on that side, and he was on this side. He got to the thing, he pressed the button to go and walk. And I saw him there, and I noticed him. He noticed me. And I was like, oh, he's some person. But I knew he's famous, and I looked at him here and there. I was like, yep, he's that famous guy, Larry King. And then he like got kind of annoyed. He got kind of annoyed because I wasn't like acknowledging that he was like some really famous person who was really important. And I was like some random young guy. I was 19. I had just gotten to LA. And I think I was 19, yeah. And he got annoyed, and I was like, he was like kind of annoyed because he didn't get to feel like the biggest, best famous person. I was just kind of like, oh, he's some person, even though I think he's famous. I guess that's him, and that was him. And I looked right at him. And then I saw Ashton Kutcher, who had the same reaction as Larry King. He got kind of angry because I saw him, he saw me from far away. He was in I think a silver Range Rover, or like a Range Rover, like a newer looking Range Rover. I think it was in the 2000s, and he was getting his car washed, and there were like a few people there, and he was giving them money to wash his car and stuff. And I watched him, noticed, yeah, that's Ashton Kutcher. And I think he saw me, and then I was like, I kind of lost interest and was just thinking of my own stuff. And then he got really angry because he didn't get to feel. He got really angry because he didn't get to feel like the most famous one who was like so cool. Like I didn't act like he was that much better. Those are the only 2 times that in particular happened with a famous person. with Ashton Kutcher and Larry King. And then this is a weird thing. When I got to LA, I was insecure about the arm hair on my arms. I don't know what it looks like right now. I think I just shaved it a few weeks ago or months ago or something. I was insecure about my arm hair, and I'd shave it or wax it, and like I didn't know how it looked, but I thought it was like way worse than I didn't. Like I was like, you know, I when I was driving the car, I think maybe somebody pulled up next to me. I think Dane Cook pulled up next to me and noticed that it was shaved, because I was out there in LA, and I was like one of the only people I'd ever seen. I think I was the only person I'd ever seen who actually shaved the forearm hair. It was the 90s. People didn't really do that as much, I guess, unless they shaved their entire body. There's probably people out there who did, but I just didn't know. And then he added that to his stand-up comedy routine, Dane Cook, and he said, "Why would somebody shave their arm hair?" And like started making fun of it and thought it was stupid. But I don't know if it's because he saw me or not, but I was for sure it was almost because he saw me. But and then I saw Ben Affleck in Long Beach driving an expensive looking Jaguar, and this was so weird what he did with his face. He's not an Illuminati, but he knew I was watching him, I think, or somebody could see him. It was like early in the morning. There were almost no cars in the street, and he must have stayed the night at somebody's house, and he was in like an expensive looking big Jaguar. Not a Jaguar, a BMW. That's what I'm almost for sure it was. It was like one of those luxury BMWs that was like new. And so he was leaving Long Beach early in the morning, and he did some weird thing with his face, like that, like to try to pretend that he had like a different face than it was. But it was really Ben Affleck. It was Ben Affleck, like leaving somewhere early in the morning that he stayed that night or something. And he didn't want like someone to recognize him out in public, so he had to pretend. And then like he made it look like his jaw was really big and pretended like, because he could see I was looking at him. So I think that was Ben. I'm almost 100% sure it was Ben Affleck. And this was just being in LA and going out there sometimes. Beck Hansen, you know Beck. I'm a loser. I'm a loser, baby. Why don't you kill me? It's okay, Beck. You don't have to be depressed. Okay. I saw him. This was a little bit after the Loser song came out in the 90s. I saw him, I think, 1997 when I first moved out there. I was 19, or 98. And he was in Venice Beach, and he was skateboarding a longboard down Venice Beach. And he dyed his hair black so he could go out in public and people wouldn't know it was him. He had black dyed hair, but it was Beck Hansen. And he was skateboarding down the road, like somewhere in Venice Beach, and there weren't really many cars at all or on the road. And he was like skateboarding. He was like kind of the sun out is either sunset or not Sunset Boulevard, but like the sun was going down. It was kind of warm, and he was just skateboarding down the road on a big longboard. He didn't have a regular skateboard. He had a longboard. And he had dyed his hair black, and I think he may have had some kind of sunglasses, I don't know, but he was still like, you know, like looking cool and stuff, like he was young. And he made his hair black so people wouldn't recognize him out in public. Beck Hansen. I'm a loser, baby. Why don't you kill me? I don't know. However he would say. And Tommy Chong driving around it. This was a Jaguar. This was about a little south of the Mid-Wilshire area, I think, or central LA. And he was driving around a Jaguar. And this was like around 2000s, maybe 2003, early 2000s. That was just Tommy Chong driving around. I shouldn't have said black guy, because, you know, human beings, it doesn't matter if they're black or white. But there's this guy from Mad TV. I can look up his name. And I went to get my oil changed or do something to work on my car, and he was sitting there in the chair, in another chair with me when I was sitting there waiting, getting my oil changed or something, and he had like a new Mustang or newer Mustang. This guy that was on Mad TV. It's not the guys from Key and Peele. I have to look up who he is. Mad TV cast. Here he is. Phil Lamar. Wait. Phil Lamar. This guy. He was in there. He was getting his he was getting his oil changed or something like that on his Mustang. He had like a new or really new, kind of newer Mustang. It was around, I think, I don't know, the 2000s up to 2000. I don't know. So he was there getting his oil changed when I went to get my... Oh, and this was really cool. I met the drummer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers in Home Depot, Chad Smith. He was just standing on line, literally standing on line behind me in a Home Depot. This was when Californication came out, and they were looking for a new guitarist. And I had a Fender sticker on the back of my Jeep Cherokee, and I was not confident enough to see if I could audition for him. I didn't know. I was doing filmmaking, and he was behind me getting a part for his 68 Camaro. I believe it was a 68 or 69, it may have been a 69 Camaro. And that was my dream car when I was in high school, and my friend actually got it before I could ever get it. and he had a 68 or 69 Camaro, is what he told me when he was standing behind me. I said, "Are you?" What I said to him, I said, "Are you Chad?" I said, "Are you Chad?" And he said, "Yes, yeah, I'm Chad, yeah." he said he was Chad, and we talked a little bit. I told him I played drums, and I said, "But I haven't played them in a while. I kind of quit for a while." And he said, "Why'd you quit?" And I said, "I wanted to do other things." And then like when I was driving off, he could see the back of my car. It had a Fender sticker, and I was like, "Oh man!" It looked like he went, "Oh man," because like he knew I was this young guy who played, and because of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is why I had a Fender, because of John Frusciante played Fender. That's why I had a Fender sticker, and Jimi Hendrix, and Flea had a tattoo of Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, if only I had known, I could have auditioned for him, but I didn't, because I was making Tir Nan Og, I think, at the time, or some short film, and I was doing film production instead. And had I known what to say, hey, can I audition, I would have done that. But anyway, oh, this is something I never told anybody about, but I just thought about the other day. There's this hotel that's a famous hotel where famous people hang. Well, it's a hotel where famous people hang out. It's not famous, but it's like a 4 or 5 star hotel. It's called the Chateau Marmont Hotel, and I hired a producer or a production manager to help me with Crazy Animal because I didn't feel like producing it all on my own. But eventually, I had to do all the producing all on my own. Like, it's a lot of responsibility to really do film the entire movie all on your own and get it done and make it look like a real film. So I hired this guy to kind of like be a line producer or something like that, and he helped a little bit, but he was a little bit like Al, but he was kind of crazy, but he wasn't crazy, he was eccentric, but he was like not like Al at all. Al's one of my most special friends ever. But it was this guy, I don't want to say he's crazy. His name was Chris Corey. Chris Corey. And he did this short film about dogs or something. He'd always try to hang around all the famous people. I didn't do that stuff. So he thought it was cool to, like, he said he got me to go into the hotel. into the Chateau Marmont hotel and have our production meeting right there and eat food right there. And there was like a famous lady who I saw on some show, and somebody else who was sitting right there and noticed, she knew we were making a movie and having my production meeting for my own big movie or whatever, or my movie, not that big. They do really big movies. Mine was an indie movie. And she was watching us the entire time. She knew, I must be the director or something like that. And this lady with black hair, I think on Ally McBeal or something, but not the big A-list Ally McBeal, but still a pretty big famous person, and maybe one other person was famous there, and that was like, I don't know, but that's kind of stupid stuff. That it's like just something random I remembered the other day. Oh, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, when I was walking, when I was producing Crazy Animal with that Chris Corey guy or Danica, I think it was Chris Corey. I was walking into or out of the CVS, and Sarah Michelle Gellar was there and walked right in and noticed us, and I was talking about my film loud enough for she must have been able to hear it. I didn't do stuff like that, I didn't brag. I did my work. I was usually at a school doing my schoolwork the entire time I was in LA. I didn't socialize that much out there around famous people. These are the people that happen to see. And then I was talking about my budget, and she was noticing me, and I think she was single at the time, but I wanted to be with Danica. We had just gotten a little argument, and Danica moved up to LA, and I moved to an apartment to be nearer, and then we got married after that, because we got in a little argument in Orange County, and she was dumb, didn't want a baby, and I wasn't ready to make a baby or get married. So then I moved near, and then I proposed to Danica, and we got married and made a baby, but we had to settle down, and we never partied or anything anyway. We just worked constantly, went to school. I was there for 7.5 years in LA, and all that time besides 1 year I was enrolled in schools and getting good grades, and I got an MFA from one of the best film schools. Before I even graduated, I had to move back home. So it's not like I ever got to party. I think there was one day that I drank alcohol out in public with my friend Nathan, and then I saw Pauly Shore. We saw Pauly Shore walking down the street. He was partying. He would party at the places around town. Danica and I never partied. We never drank, never smoked weed. I was together with Danica the entire time, and that was way more beautiful and better than any of the stupid partying and stuff I would have asked for. We got married, and she actually did become kind of famous, but that was something, but it wasn't we didn't become A-list. But she did get 500 million views, which is not dollars, but it's it's something. And my kids, I stood up for them and believed in them to be like me, and was a good father for them, and still do the best I can. I wrote to them yesterday. So and then we saw Pauly Shore another time. Danica and I went to the ArcLight movie theater. It was a little more expensive movie theater that was a little more Pauly Shore would go to places like that to make sure no weirdos would see him and try to because he was famous. So he would go to, I don't know, but he brought his mom in there. Pauly Shore brought his mom, who owned the Comedy Store, who really got all these famous people their start. Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, almost every famous comedian got their start at the Comedy Store, and his mother owned the Comedy Store, and he was in there with his mother, and they sat right behind me and Danica. And when we were walking in the hallway waiting for the movie doors to open before the movie, Pauly Shore said to Danica, she had a cute outfit on, she was going to some audition, and he said, "Who are you, Little Bo Peep?" And Pauly Shore asked Danica if she was Little Bo Peep, and I said, "No, it's something." She said, I went to an audition, and And I tried to keep her for myself, and I said, "Oh, it's some stupid thing. She's probably not gonna. It's not gonna do much of something," because I wanted to keep her for myself. But she was that way too. She was that way too. Instead of being like a sexy person who showed her body all those people to be famous and give away her sex appeal, she kept covering it up. She was nice and kind. She did God's work. And the auditions she did for other people didn't get that big, but we did our own films our own way and stayed together, and our films got kind of big in our own way. We did things like all our own way. So like independent, they call it, or our own videos and stuff. So that was really good. God had it be a different way instead of me being an A-list actor. But I still, these people are real human beings. They're not bad. They may not be bad. They're okay, I think. So and then Pauly Shore sat behind us with his mom, and he was trying to get her medical marijuana for his mom, because she was considerably older by then, and she wanted it to help her health. So and that was like in 2003. That was a while ago. And back in LA, they just had the medical marijuana stuff. It was like, I don't know, or whenever year that is, I don't, and we didn't do any marijuana or anything like that. I never got to party the ways that I thought would be. I didn't do any of that stuff. It would be awful thinking about it, the sin of that kind of stuff. It would hurt myself and others if I had done that kind of stuff. I might be dead. I may have been on my way to the lake of. I'll never be on my way to the lake of fire. I hope. I hope to God. I'm grateful for how it is now. Anyway. Oh, and then with my friend Nathan, the one time I drank alcohol out in public, all the he was walking down the road. He had two girls. He had one girl on this side, one girl on this side. Pauly Shore. He's walking down the road with girls, and like young, attractive women or something that he never got married. That was kind of something that he did when he was younger. He did, I don't know if he was that bad about it or not. I can't judge him. God will judge us. So, some famous guy from the old days of Hollywood, when I first got there, looked at me. Hey, what? He said some weird thing to me, but I don't even know if I can say. I was wondering. He talked like, I don't know. He was like almost the old days of like when New York he knew about the people who at one time they used to go to New York to get famous in movies before LA. Like he was from like a long time ago. He'd be like maybe in his 80s or 90s or hundreds now. He wasn't that much older. He was like 40 or 50 something back then when he talked to me. Maybe 63 or something. I don't know. And I saw some other guy that looked like I don't know who that one was, a random person, but I think he was famous. But I can never figure out who that guy was. Oh, and then my friend stopped in his new BMW. His parents got him a brand new BMW. He had a 2003, and then he traded it. He had so much money, he traded it in and got a 2005. It was like a 3 or 5 series. It was like a smaller BMW. I mean, he had money, but he really worked. He really worked after that. He finally worked. It took him till I think his later 20s or early 30s. I think later 20s, and he started making 6 figures a year at producing people's music. He's brilliant at it. Brilliant at it. Sounds like the most amazing, good original music there is. Like almost like the Beatles or something. He's able to write it and create it all. It's amazing. He worked really hard at it, and he's good at it. He pays his bills at it, but his parents helped him with even more money. It's ridiculous how much money, but it's like, not that much. It's not ridiculous. He's okay, but I can't judge him. But it's like somewhat a little scary when people start valuing money itself. That's not what it's about. It's not about love of money or the wrong values. But I think he's still maybe an okay person. And then that was at UCLA. He was driving, and I went to give a homeless person $1 or $2 when I was a student. I was like 20 or 22 or something like that or whatever. I went to give a homeless person $1 or $2, and while I was doing that, he said hi to Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler pulled up to the same gas station in West Hollywood at UCLA. And he got to say hi to what Adam Sandler, and I was like literally giving money to a homeless person, because that kind of is like where my values and stuff were as back then. Really a kind, good, godly, Jesus-like person. I was a good person, but I can't judge him. You know, maybe Adam Sandler getting to heaven for all I know. I don't know. I think it's less likely when they have that much earthly success instead of godly things that are of value to God. Like kindness to others, being a good person, all the stuff the New Testament talks about. I don't want to start preaching it right now, but it's all in the New Testament. Kindness to others, even when they're mean to you, forgiving them. Many ways you can honoring your parents, honoring your wife before your parents when you're finally married, being a good father or a good mother. And I saw Mike Myers, who was covered in special effects makeup with like 20 people around him, making sure nobody could really get to him on the set of this movie, where I was like production assistant and kind of did set design on this movie Nobody Knows Anything. Mitch Rouse was the director. Also on set was Scott Thompson from The Kids in the Hall and all these other famous. Margaret Cho. I delivered a script to Margaret Cho. This is when I first got to LA. I was 19 or 20. 19 or 20. I first got to LA and I worked as a production assistant, when you first get your start. So I delivered a script to her door and talked to her front. She was like, oh, he doesn't know anything. She knew that I didn't know anything I was talking about movies. I was just learning. This was 25 years ago, almost 25 years ago, or 24 years ago. She was like, she's just trying to talk to me and get along with me. I think her mom was in there. She has like an Asian mom. And she had a pretty good house. I think it was in the Hollywood Hills, but it was just like a regular, like a smaller house. And she was trying to talk to me and stuff, but I had no idea about movies or what to say. I didn't really know what a script writing was. I didn't know any of that, cinematography, or I didn't know what it was. So I didn't know how to talk to her. And she was like, oh. And so I just like kind of walked away, and I didn't know what it was about, but I knew it was her. I was nice to her. She asked me some question that was like some movie thing, and I had no idea what she was talking about. And then later I knew it. I started learning more. I was learning way more. I was at Chapman University, and Penelope Spheris, director of Wayne's World, with Mike Myers and the other guy, Wayne and Garth or whatever. Penelope Spheris directed, and she told us that was her idea to put anyway, that was at a class, and I started filming her with a video camera. I had a DV camera. And she had told the dean of the film school, no filming allowed if I'm going to show up and give this speech. And it was in front of a giant class. It was in front of a giant auditorium classroom of all these students. And she was giving a huge speech. And the dean was sitting in one chair. And I just took out my DV camera that I had in the bag and started filming. I started filming her. And she said... And she finally stopped me and said, hey, are you filming? Can you come down here? I want that tape. I'll give you $20 for it. She told me she'd give me $20 for the tape. And I had to walk down in front of the whole class, and the class laughed, and they thought it was so funny and I gave her she asked me some question. I said, I don't know, or something. I answered it, and I wasn't stupid, but I said, she asked me some question. I'm thinking what it was. It was she asked me some question, what are you filming? And I said something, a kid, how smart could a kid be? I was 20, I wasn't that young. I was a little older. I was like 24. I think it was 24, maybe 25. And so I gave her the tape, and they all laughed with me, like, standing up for me. And then I was also, when I was really young out there, I went to UCLA film school, and I thought if I sat in the classes, they'd let me in the film program if I got to know the professors and stuff. And I was only 19. I was literally 19 years old. I was 19 years old when that semester started in 1997, and I went to UCLA and I sat in a small film class where they had a screening room of like 12 kids, and they screened this movie, Nanook of the North. It's a really good film. It was from the 1930s, and I watched it, and then they wanted to do a roll call, and I didn't know if I should sign my name. And they wanted us to come down and sign our names, and I think I signed it, but I thought you had to. I was like wondering how to get into class, and I just didn't go back to that class again. And then I sat in a giant auditorium. I think it was UCLA, a real class at UCLA, but it was also UCLA Extension, this one. So it was open to anyone who wanted to sign up and pay like some money and kind of go to the class, but I didn't pay that much. And so I sat there and I had these sunglasses. And I had to get up in front of the entire class, and they kept noticing me because, like, why is he wearing those sunglasses? And I put makeup on my face. Men didn't do that back then. And it was like, that was the only time I put makeup on. That wasn't that weird. It was like something happened. I was trying to hide my face or something, and it was like not easy. And there are other things I could talk about. I might tell one day, but I'm not ready to tell about it because God has not wanted me to say things. And I don't know why, but I guess maybe one day I'll be able to say the stuff. But they kept noticing me. Like, who was it? I don't know. They knew I was there, and it was like this weird person. I had to stand up in front of the class. Like, I had sunglasses and makeup on. They're like, why is he wearing sunglasses indoors? and it was kind of funny. And then, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on my campus. He gave a huge speech. I saw his back walk off the stage because I had waited there with just me, Danica, the dean of the film school, Peter Medak, who was nominated for an Academy Award, who I have a video of him, a short film that I made in his class on video with Danica in it. He's in the video somewhere on a hard drive somewhere. And Malcolm McDowell was there. They were sitting together on that side of the place. There's almost no one in there. All the bleacher seats on both sides. It was just the dean, Peter Medak, I don't even want to think about these like famous people, not famous people, but like really important people, and then me and Danica on this side. And we waited and waited and waited. Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't getting there, and I was tired. I was getting a little worried, and I was like, I want to go get some food. So I said, let's go get some food, and we left. Danica and I left. We got food, and when we drove back, the entire place was filled up with people on both sides of the bleachers, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's back. Everyone stood up and clapped, and I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger's back walking off the stage. I saw his back walking off the stage. I didn't even get to see him talk. And so and then we did kind of famous movie stuff a little bit. Like her film won a Young Artist Award. Her film Tyranny and Og won a Young Artist Award. And Shia LaBeouf was on stage, and he accepted the award for Frankie Muniz, who didn't show up there, who was like, for some reason, and Rupert Grint won an award too. the redheaded kid in Harry Potter, and it was all other studio movies besides ours. We won in the short film category. That was pretty cool. That was like a real red carpet kids ceremony. The Young Artist Awards. I think it was 2002 or 2003. I almost on. It was 2002 or 2003 for Tiernan and Og. That was pretty cool. But I didn't even get to go. She got to sit at a table with her sisters there. We had gotten in a little argument, and I didn't go for some reason. I got a little angry there. I wasn't trying to brag like I was the coolest one or something. I was in schools and in film school. I was like, sometimes I wasn't clumsy. I wasn't stupid. I felt like they were all looking at me, and I was so different from every last one, I felt like. But I kind of acted like, I thought they could see everything I was doing the entire... It was like I could not escape that. It's like, it was difficult for me to sit in the seat, and when I did my best, it was still doing it. And it would not go away. It was not easy. And that, God allowed that to become the person who they're all looking at to be the kind of famous person. Somehow that went along with it, but I had to be the worst of everyone. I had to be the worst of everyone in the class for, through many schools did not feel that great. So God had me particularly go through that, so then I could enjoy getting to be kind of like the famous person who's being the one looked at and stuff. And it's funny because I didn't even know I wanted to be the famous person. I wanted to direct. I wanted to be a filmmaker. But I didn't know I wanted to do like acting, singing, stuff like that. The one who's talking in the videos. I didn't know I would be on camera. I thought I would do all the work to do the filmmaking like I did in my film Rebel Fish. I wasn't even going to do the voiceover for Rebel Fish. It was my work that I was working at, But somehow I still had to feel that way before I ever knew about any of it. And then my friend Brian, wouldn't do the voiceover when I asked him to come back and film for Rebel Fish, and I was like, okay, I'll record my own voice, and recorded my voiceover for him. But I'm not in the film at all. Besides, the very end, it shows me editing. Like when I got really skinny and was editing in a bed. It shows a picture of it in my film Rebel Fish. And then I sat in a bed 9 months teaching myself how to edit all the post-production I could figure out on in Final Cut Pro. I wanted to make a short film or whatever. It's because it made me sad to work at anything else. Anything else made me sad. I had to do it. It was like not easy. I tried to make the best short film I could possibly make. I may end up going to LA. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's I don't know if it's scary. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but I'm not depressed about it. Thank God I'm not depressed about it. I may have to do things to pay my bills. That's work that I don't know what it'll be, I don't know. That was a constant worry from like when I was 12 years old. I felt like I always had to work harder than others, and felt like it was like never work enough, or never enough work, or never even called work. When I was working so relentlessly, or so much, anyway, then I was in a commercial. My friend who produces music and stuff, he's really good. He makes good money at it. He's a producer for all these artists in LA. They want to be famous or something, so he produces all the songs for them, makes it sound really, really good. And he does all the music himself. It's amazing. It's like, and he found a way to make money off those aspiring famous singers and stuff. And he has like this cool house. He has a 4-bedroom house in Bel Air where the Fresh Prince lived. and he makes good money at it, and he's brilliant. But he's one of my best friends, but not, he was one of my best friends there. But Danica's who's that I would always go to. I'm not a weirdo. But he did this commercial, National Endowment for the Arts. I can't judge him. It was a PSA, and it was like he just did it as a school project, but he got Ed Asner to do the voiceover. So it's like called some thing he did. And I act in it. I play one of the lead characters in it. I play drums, act like I'm playing drums. And those are like, and when I was a little kid, I saw Mr. T in 1985. I went up to New York City with my parents, where they had all the Christmas displays in the windows. And I was like 4, 5, or 6 years old. And it was like Rockefeller Plaza, and we'd walk there, and they had these amazing Christmas displays in the windows that you could walk past and look at, just walking around there in Rockefeller Plaza, where they have ice skating or stuff, and you could look at the giant tree and all this cool stuff around Manhattan, New York. And I was little, and Mr. T was there, and there's a literal trailer, like a movie trailer, on the side of the road somewhere in New York City, like right near all that stuff, like right at Rockefeller Plaza, and Mr. T was there. I remember seeing him. It was like 1985 or 84 or something like that. Maybe I didn't get the years exactly right, but it was in the 80s when I was a little boy, and it was really Mr. T. And he was like the first famous person I saw. But I didn't meet him, but I saw him walking around there and stuff. And anyway, I've seen all kinds of famous people. Here's more famous people I met in Virginia. Then Brink Stevens, the Scream Queen I got in a movie, randomly showed up at a convention I was at the same year I screened that movie. So she showed up at the screening, and we took pictures of her and stuff, and she talked about the movie and stuff, and I talked to her. Brink Stevens. Mickey Rooney was at a convention. Danica got YouTube famous here. Danica and the kids got YouTube famous from here. They got 500 million views. 500 million views. Well, may not be A-list, but it's more than most A-listers, I think, for YouTube, because they don't in general, they don't in particular have a bunch of YouTube views unless there's somebody like Justin Bieber. He has like the most views or something for an A-lister. And oh yeah, the Angry Video Game Nerd. I see his videos every time I'm scrolling. I'm still subscribed to him. I think he's really good. I think he's an okay person, but I don't know how good. I can't judge him, but I hope to God he finds God and Jesus before it's too late. He's married. He was in a movie I was in, and there are other kind of famous people in movies that I was in here that my friends did, and I did, with these people from MTV's Beverly Blvd and stuff that I filmed in Philly. And Lloyd Kaufman I filmed a few different times. I've seen him different times at various like conventions and film festivals. He owns Trome Entertainment, did The Toxic Avenger, and blah blah blah. Maybe he's okay or not, I don't know. I believe in God and Jesus. I believe in God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Whoops, I said little people. Other people are not really famous. They're like my friends, like Jeremy Ambler, but they're kind of famous. Not really famous, but like Jeremy Ambler, Monique Dupree, John Johnson, who directed Plan 9, the new remake of Ed Wood's Plan 9. That I was producer on, one of the producers on, or co-producer, whatever we ended up calling it. Really supposed to be producer. And He got some famous people like Brian Krause. That movie was SAG. That was a SAG movie, I think. And they got Brian Krause in it, who's some kind of famous, like, bigger name person or whatever it is. And then Danica became famous here, and my kids became famous here on YouTube. Because we didn't have the Hollywood movie, so we did it on YouTube. But, you know, I only have 11 million views on my channel. I don't have her views. She has 500 million views. She had worked at it since she was 14. She had headshots when she was 14 years old. It took till she was 38 or 36, 38 or something like that to finally, it was in the end of 2014. I guess she was 38 or 37. Something like that, and she finally made it at that stuff. But she didn't make it into heaven. So we don't know if we got into heaven or not. I may get to die, because I don't know if this thing will ever happen for me, but I want to make it to heaven. Because it hasn't really happened that much for me. But this is like the famous people I met or whatever, you know. And I still have to pay my bills. How much money is this paying me every month? Not this, not the talking about famous people, but my actual work, like screenwriting, writing the original material. And I haven't gotten to do a lot of that, but I'm still working at here and there with these videos. I've been working at it relentlessly. Well, I've been working at it the entire time with the videos. And I'm a good father. It's more important to follow God and Jesus and kind of let go of those things. Don't get depressed that it didn't happen in the way I thought. You know, I'm not like somebody like those famous people that we all know, we've seen on TV the entire time. You know, since we were kids or in the, you know, we've seen them in the movie theater since we're, you know, we know who they are. You know, Justin Bieber, the big A-lister, you know, he has enough money to retire. You know, he has enough money to retire. He doesn't have to do anything he doesn't feel like anymore. Unless it's God's work. He still has to do God's work. That's difficult. But I think God has me in this place to kind of like, you know, he has us all where he wants us. Right now, where we are, without any of the unnecessary things, without the sin, I'm going to go. You don't want to fight someone because it's trying to make me feel something to a dick. It's like something trying to make me feel good to my private parts and accept it and feel good with whoever. You know, that's not why I'm doing this. I'm going to go. You don't start punching the air or whoever's doing it to try to make it go away. When you're by yourself out in the woods. Fuck you, man. Trying to make me feel something to my private parts. Oh. Well, I'm gonna go. These are thoughts in my head. I felt like something was trying to make me feel something to my private parts and accept it and go with it as the thing that I'm doing. That's the opposite of my work that I would do. And this is not really my best work. This is a video. It's okay, you know, but it's not my best work. I'm gonna calm down. Felt very annoyed right then. I didn't know what that was. Well, I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. You can check out my movies or whatever, or maybe I'll have to do new ones and actually get paid for it properly. You know, after really working at it that long, you know, why should I do one more masterpiece, or what I used to call it a masterpiece? You know, something that I really had to work that hard on to cry, till you break down and cry or suffer. You know, is it worth doing that when I don't know if it'll make money or not again? So why should I work that hard at it again? You know, but I've had to keep working at it however I was able to, considering whatever. Considering, I'm getting out of here. These anxiety words are creeping up. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. Okay, bye. Bye. Check out more videos. This is John Birmingham. I put this makeup on and wiped it on my face. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna go. It was in another video. It said God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and it was good. It was because I couldn't go on anymore. So I put this makeup on and just was like, I drank these beers. I could not take it anymore. And somehow I filmed a video with it. And it was okay again when I filmed the video, and it didn't come out bad. And then this one, before something goes awfully wrong with it, I'm going to turn it off and take a break and take it easy and think of something else, because I can only do so much. Okay, bye. Now I know I've worked. Okay, so I guess I've done enough. Okay, bye. I can take it easy. I can finally, thank God, take it easy and close this. Okay, bye. Bye. Dear God and Jesus, be with us on earth. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Bye.